Shalom. 202 years ago today, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was born. My family and I actually just had the chance to visit the Abraham Lincoln Memorial in Springfield, Illinois. And on this same day, 96 years ago today, the cornerstone of the Lincoln Memorial was laid in Washington, D.C. The purpose of the Lincoln Memorial is clearly engraved on its base. And pardon me for reading a little above the camera here, but it says as follows: "In this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever." All of Abraham Lincoln's accomplishments and all those that he helped would forever be remembered through this memorial in Washington. Many of us have visited that same memorial. In this essay, I'd like to examine the building of memorials, temples, and edifices. I'd like to understand our need to construct these large structures seemingly all over the world and done all throughout all of history. After understanding the motivation behind the construction, I aim to follow the mechanics of how large buildings help us understand and commemorate people, events, and ideas. To do so, I plan on focusing on the Mizbeach, the altar in the Mishkan, and later on in the Beis HaMikdash. I hope to leave the reader with an appreciation of both construction, commemoration, and how the two relate. Since the beginning of human existence, man has built grandiose buildings whose purpose was more than providing shelter. The first recorded such superstructure was the Tower of Babel, a high-rise designed to show man's power and wage war with God. As time went on, man's instinct to build calmed in its rebelliousness, but retained its motivation as construction as a reflection of man's power and talents. When man wanted to remember an event, an idea, or a unique individual, it seemed that the choice was mainly done through construction of a structure. This allowed the idea, person, or event to live on eternally through a reflection of man's power. When an event that changes the course of history occurs, it leaves a great impression on mankind and conveys what the world is capable of. This is same as true of memorializing a person and a memorable person. Throughout history, people have stepped up and showed humanity just what it's capable of, and just what each and every one of us can accomplish. It's important that mankind see itself as able to achieve greatness, while at the same time remembering the limitations brought upon us by the natural world. We construct memorials to simultaneously inspire us to greatness while humbling ourselves as well. We remember our tragedies and our achievements, all in the hopes of preventing future catastrophe and encouraging future accomplishments. Man considers thoughts inspired by impression. The larger the impression, the more likely it will give us pause. In memorializing an event, a person, or an idea, man tries to leave a great impression, all in the hopes of inspiring thought. Memorials commemorate more than just a person or an event, but a value that the event or the person stood for. It is the value that we memorialize. Turning to our Sedra, it discusses the Mizbeach, the altar, in the construction of the temple. The altar was the place where offerings were burned, where they were literally offered up, the korbanot. And through the offerings, the place where atonement was gained. That was the purpose of many of the korbanos, was to gain atonement. Our tradition states that this very same spot where the Mizbeach stood in the Beit HaMikdash was where Adam and Noach gave their korbanos, their offerings. Adam, as he offered thanks to God, and Noach after the flood. It was also the place where Avram brought Yitzchak up for the Akedah. Yitzchak had almost sacrificed him, later trading that in for a ram. Our rabbis tell us that the place of atonement was created before man itself, allowing for man's sinful ways and the correction and eventual atonement of those sinful ways. The altar commemorates past events and reminds us of man's failures, but also his rebounds. Construction, as in the Lincoln Memorial and all memorials, the altar, the Mizbeach, the Beit HaMikdash, and today unfortunately only the Kotel, reminds us of how great we can become, but also how far we can fall. But most of all reminds us of atonement and tells us that no matter how hard we fall, we can always rebound. Shabbat Shalom.